Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to this very special episode of the Classics Show. I am your host, Shabnum, Riaz. Well, today is the 10th of Muharram, or Ashura. Ashura, of course, coming from the Arabic word meaning 10th. The 10th of a month that is very, very important for all Muslims. It is the month that denotes remembrance, reflection, great sorrow. The greatest tragedies in Islamic history took place in this month, on this very date. What has its impact been on literature? What has its impact been on not just Muslims, but non-Muslims too, who have recorded the event, and also poets who have written about it? There's a lot we're going to talk about in today's program. And for today's program, we are very happy to have with us Dr. Maqsood Jafri, who's a professor of literature. You have been teaching in Pakistani and US universities. You have your PhD in literature from Texas, your DPhil Islamic philosophy from New York, and author of 26 books. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Dr. Jafri, I wanted to start with this question. When we talk about Ashura and we talk about the 10th of Muharram, what were the events that led up to this day in history, and what exactly was the message, and what was behind this profound sacrifice?
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's very important to discuss this event of Muslim history because it has caused much effect on world literature and on the minds of people, particularly the people who believe in freedom and social justice, and the people who are crusading for human rights, human norms, human values. This tragedy has put great impact on the world culture, you can say. Actually, this tragedy has been prophesied in the Torah as well, that on the bank of the Euphrates there will be a big sacrifice in the coming generations, Ummah.
Yeah.
And the Muslim scholars have written that, as it was predicted already, it is destined that that such a great sacrifice will be offered in the name of humanity or Islam for the salvation of humanity. This is a philosophy, and particularly in the Holy Quran we see that in Surah Safat that there's something about this tragedy mentioned, that when Abraham was asked 3 times in dream that he has to sacrifice his son Ishmael, he asked his son, "My dear son, I have seen in my dreams thrice that Allah has ordered me that I should sacrifice you in the name of Allah." He said, "Fasatajani, you will find me in a sabirin," that if this is the wish or will of God, my father, you will find me in sabirin, that I'm patient and I'm ready for the sacrifice. And when this sacrifice was altered and a lamb was ransomed, and it was said in the Holy Quran, وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبٍ azim, that we have changed this sacrifice, بِذِبٍ azim, into a great sacrifice, the other sacrifice.
Right.
The Quran says, وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ, and we have left it for the last ummah, the last ummah, the last akhirin. That also shows that the ummah of Prophet Muhammad is the last ummah and he is the last messenger, because the word has been used. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ.
Right.
It has been. Now, the Holy Prophets asked about it when Imam Hussein was born, and Holy Prophet was informed. He came to see, and the lady Safiya, she, Prophet said, "Give my grandson to me." She said that let us wash her. And Prophet said, though he is Imam, he is pure from God's side, give me. When he was just saying with happiness, after some time he started crying. The tears trickled out as well out from his eyes. So everybody was worried, said, "Why you are crying, Prophet?" He said, "The Gabriel just came to me and said that this is the son, that is your great son, who is destined to sacrifice himself for that Islamic cause. So it was predicted, and then the Holy
What
Prophet.
a prophecy.
Yes, yes. It's in all histories. It is recorded in all books of Muslims. Without it, even the non-Muslims have recorded this, and the Prophet. So this is the mostly Prophet used to say when he used to see Hussein, he used to pick him up and caress him and love him and say, mostly say that he is who will save my religion. So Iqbal has mentioned about it. Allah Allah boy Bismillah Pidar Mani Zibn Azim Ahmad Pisar. See what a great wondrous thing happened, that the father is mentioned in the Holy Quran as by Bismillah, and the son Hussein came as Zibn Azim, the greatest sacrifice destined by God.
Absolutely.
So it is the Quranic message that why. Now the question is that why it happened.
Yes.
It happened, we will have to go back to history. Suppose we read Dr. Philip Hitti's history, the history of Arabs, or the history of certain sons of Aamir Ali, or Arabic histories, Muhammad Jarir ibn Arabi or Yaqubi. So many histories, we come to know that when Yazid was declared as the first monarch, the four guided caliphs, we say the Khulafai Rashidin, from Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, Ali, they were not nominated in a way that it is not, you could say, they weren't ours, that's hereditary. There is no hereditary politics of power in Islam.
So what's the difference between monarchy and caliphate?
Yeah. In Surah Shura, we find, in my two books, The Message of Islam, published in New York, and The Rational Study of Islam, I have mentioned it in detail, that there's basic difference between the Islamic concept of mushawarat, counseling, or caliphate, or in the modern sense, as Maulana Maududi has discussed, Khilafat Mulukiyyat, caliphate and monarchy, the modern concept of Islamic democracy. The basic difference is this, that the four caliphs, they didn't nominate their sons. There's no hereditary politics in Islam.
Right.
In the Surah counseling, the Shura, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ, the Holy Prophet is ordained by God that in the matters, day-to-day matters, in the worldly matters, have consultation, counseling with your companions.
Right.
Even Prophet is not supposed, except this, that he says that this is the message of God. This is the words that has been descended or revealed by revelation to me, that this is the message of God, this is the book, that's all. Personally, even the Prophet is not a dictator. Prophet is supposed to counsel with the companions, the Sahaba Ikram, and he used to do that. So according to the Quran, without counseling of the, you can say elders at that time, or the people,
right.
The people who mattered in that era,
Gaining a consensus.
Consensus,
Yeah.
and the four caliphs after them, history tells us that there was a truce between Imam Hassan and Amir Muawiyah, that when Hazrat Ali was assassinated, and the people elected Imam Hassan. And Imam Hassan ruled in Kufa for 6 months. At that time, Syria, Egypt, Iraq, some countries were, Amir Muawiyah was governor of Syria, but he didn't accept Imam Ali as caliph. So there was the Jang-e Safin took place between these two forces, Ali and Muawiyah's forces. When Ali was assassinated by Ibn Muljam while praying in the mosque, and after on 19th Ramzan, he was injured, attacked, and on 21st he expired. So Hazrat Imam Hassan, and there was a truce between Amir Muawiyah and Imam Hassan, that if Amir Muawiyah dies earlier, the state government will go to Imam Hassan. It was decided. And if Hassan dies, and after that goes Hussein. But there was some political, some people have written that there was some breach of truce, and Yazid was nominated. Okay? So Imam Hussein didn't accept this nomination.
Right.
This was the reason. He said that let the people, elders, decide it. So if it starts once, it means that then it starts.
Of course.
Monarchy starts.
Then you can't stop
And
it.
Prophet and the Quran doesn't permit monarchy. Permit shura, Shura means parliament, and with the consultation or counseling of the people.
Right.
So this is the basic difference between monarchy and caliphate.
Right.
Islamic caliphate is just like in the modern sense, in the you can say ijtihad, soul searching or rationalization.
So again, this is, you know, reflective of the idea behind Islam of equality and of having everyone as a stakeholder,
of course,
which is the main thing that is reflective in our religion of humanity, taking everyone's opinion counts. Everyone is a stakeholder in their own existence.
Before coming to the subject, the impact of tragedy of Karbala on world literature, first of all, let us know what is tragedy and what happened.
Yes.
Then the impact comes. You know, if somebody is influenced by this tragedy, first of all, that writer should know that
the facts.
The fact why I am impressed by this. It's not just a fight between, it's not a fight, it was a battle between two princes, it was a battle between two principles.
Two principles.
Now I tell you that my studies convinces me that because of autocratic and monarchic rule in the Muslim countries, so this tragedy, you know, it is not properly presented. Not properly presented. Suppose Edward Gibbon, in the fall of Roman Empire, he has written that it is such a greatest human tragedy that how cold-blooded murder of Hussein and his kith and kin, his companions, even 18 years young son Akbar and 6 months Ali Asghar, they killed everybody. The whole family was killed.
Exactly.
And only because of worldly politics. And it is interesting to know that Imam Hussein never announced
war.
What? Firstly, that I'm fighting for crown, throne, scepter.
Exactly.
When he left Medina, because he was asked by governor of Medina, night time he was asked to come to the palace. So 18 young people, 18 young members of the family of Imam Hussein, they knew that there's something fishy. And they were with Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein went inside, so the governor said that I have received the message of Yazid, you know he has become a monarch, and you have to accept his government, and you have to give your hand in the hand of that. It's a bay'ah, allegiance, oath of allegiance. Imam Hussein said, do you expect a misli, a man like me is going to accept him as caliph? Is he a caliph? He's a drunkard, he's a debauch. And he openly mocks at the Islamic teachings.
Right.
And when he sits on the pulpit, there's a monkey dancing in his lap. And he has violated Islamic basic tenets and basic principles. He's, you know...
How can you ask something of
How
this
can
from him?
ask he be that being the grandson of the Prophet and Imam of the time? I'm the spiritual leader. If not political leader, if not the ruler in the practical sense that I am president or I caliph means president or prime minister.
He was
in the
carrying
modern
a great
terminology.
legacy himself,
Yeah.
as the Imam said.
So this is the reason that Imam Hussein, when he was leaving, his people asked him that don't leave, stay in Medina. He said that I have been asked by the governor, either give your hand or give your head. The only thing, either your hand or your head. And this is the reason that great mystic saint of our subcontinent, Hazrat Moinuddin Chashti Ajmeri says, Shah Ast Hussain, Badshah Ast Hussain. Hussain is a real king. Hussain is our leader. Deen Ast Hussain, Deen Panah Ast Hussain. Hussain is Deen. Hussain is religion. And Hussain gave Panah, protection to Islam. Sar daud, na daud, dast, dast Yazid. He gave his head, but he didn't give his hand in the hand of Yazid.
And in fact, you know, mystics have, you know, saints, Sufis, they have expressed in great detail regarding the incident at
And it's very interesting. I tell you very frankly, I should not mention, but it is a part of history, so I mention because mostly I always try while writing or speaking on the controversial matters, because I'm a very humble student of philosophy and literature. And so we people are tolerant, and we try to accommodate the views of everybody. But I tell you one thing, negative and positive books have been written. Apart from history. In the subcontinent, Hujjatullah al-Baligha of Shah Waliullah Delhi, Sir al-Shahadatain of Abdulaziz Delhi, Khilafat Mulukiyat of Maulana Maududi, Zikr Hussain of Kausa Niazi. He was my friend when he was writing this book. He sometimes used to call me Maulana Kausa Niazi and just say, what's your opinion about it? Okay. And there are, numerous books written in the praise of Imam.
Yes.
Thomas Carlyle in his Sartre's Exorcist and Hero and Hero Worship, and Bernard Shaw, Gandhi, all world scholars.
Dickens.
They have, of course, they have presented their tributes to Imam Hussain, saying that he was the messenger of human rights, freedom, nobility, piety. Okay. And there are some people who have tried to, misconstrue the situation and misinterpret. Okay, I don't want to mention them. There are people even today. You ask me that why some people, knowingly that Imam Hussain was very dear to Prophet Hussain. Prophet said, Hussain minni wa ana min al-Hussain. Everybody knows it. All Muslim sects, this is a tradition saying of the Holy Prophet mentioned in all the, suppose you can say Bukhari Sharif or every, the books of Hadith, sayings of the Prophet. What does it mean? It means Hussain minni, Prophet said, Hussain is from me and I am from Hussain. So the commentators have commented that biologically Hussain was a grandson of Prophet Muhammad. So Hussain was from Muhammad. So how Muhammad becomes that he is from Hussain? Ideologically, Hussain protected and saved the mission of Muhammad. This is the reason that Iqbal said,
I have come to know Islam through Hazrat Imam Hussain.
Ramze Quran as Hussain muqtim, Zawtishu sholhaw anduqtim. I have understood the real Islam, the secret of Islam from Hussain. And I've gathered the flames of love and passion from the fire of Hussain.
Right.
So, as you're talking about this, Iqbal understood. Iqbal has written much against imperialism and monarchy. So he understood that what was the war of Imam Hussain. So the world literature influenced when Imam Hussain says at Karbala, In kana deen Muhammad lam yastaqim illa bi qatli ya suyuf Khuzaini. If the religion of Muhammad, Islam, cannot be established without my murder. Just see, if Islam cannot be established, it means it's a code of life, it has to be established. Understand the words. In kana deen Muhammad lam yastaqim illa bi qatli. If it is not established without my murder, faya suyuf Khuzaini, all the swords come and mangle my body into pieces. Just see how valorous and how courageous statement it is that Imam Hussain sacrificed for the resurrection a new system as the system of Islam. Now I have just told you that Islam has been completely, as Qutb Shahid of Egypt has written a book, Islam, a Misunderstood Religion. That's a good book. I have read it, and he says that.
What are the facts that he's been able to?
This very simply that Islam is a religion of social values, justice, and freedom. It's not a religion of extremists and terrorists. It's a religion of.
Dr. Jafri, tell me this: when we talk about the events of Karbala, the huge tragedy, making such an impact on historians, philosophers, poets, writers. What has that done in clearing Islamophobia, if not anything else, or the misunderstood elements of Islam? How have they been addressed?
You are right. Very pertinent question. Imam Hussain was asked twice to attack in Karbala. Once when Hur, the leader of a band of Yazidi force, the man who first came and stopped Hussain, and he said that I have been ousted. Either you take the oath of allegiance, or we have to kill you, Hur. And on the 10th night, he came with his son. And he said, Hussain, forgive me. You are the grandson of the Holy Prophet. And I apologize. And he laid down his life with his son from the camp of Imam Hussain, Hazrat Hur. Okay? So when he came at that time, so some of the companions of Imam Hussain said that when he came to discuss in the camp, we can attack and we can kill him. But Imam Hussain said, no, I don't want to initiate war. I have not come to fight. I've come to
do the opposite.
I have come to give the message of peace,
Exactly.
the message of tolerance, the message of justice, the message of freedom for humankind. Okay. The second time, Muhammad ibn Osija, Shimr came close to him, and Shimr wanted to give some message that some people should come to us, we'll bribe them, you know. So Hazrat Osija just unsheathed his sword, and Imam Hussain stopped him. He said, no, we will not start war. So it shows that Imam Hussain was a moderate man believing in peace, and Islam is, you know, the word Islam is from Salama, Arabic word. Salama means peace.
Yes.
Salama is the only word which has two meanings. It's very interesting to know. Salama in Arabic means salamati, means peace for humankind, peace for everybody. When I say assalamu alaikum, salutation to you, it means I give the message, you are
Peace
protected,
unto you.
you are in peace.
Yes.
Okay? And salama is, the other meaning is that is obedience to God. So the word salama Islam has two meanings, haququllah, that is the rights of God, prayer, etc., you know it.
Yes.
And human rights,
Haququl
ibad.
Right.
So the word itself shows how
And in
comprehensive
fact,
it
Hazrat
is.
Imam Hussain was promoting Haququl Ibad.
Yeah.
Because he had brought you know, the message of the people, the fight against, as you said, oppression, against tyranny, against dictatorship, it was the good versus the evil. How have historians, non-Muslims, how have they recorded the event? And also, you know, in a Western point of view, which poets have written about it, and what has been said?
You know, I tell you, in Western poetry, because I had been a very humble student, a professor of English and American literature, and I studied Canadian Australian literature as well. The American poets mostly, they have their own topics and they mostly avoid. But generally I can say that I just mentioned these Thomas Carlyle, Edward Gibbon historians, that they have presented great tributes to the chivalry and courage and tolerance and determination of Imam Hussain. So, because it is our topic, religious topic, we can say that, you know, it comes to poetry, there was a very great poet, Prof.Dr. Arabic poet. When he was going to Makkah, and Imam Hussain was coming from Makkah to Kufa. So they met at a place. So Prof.Dr. said, Imam said, how about the Kufians, the people of Kufa? He said, their hearts are with you, but their souls are with Yazid. When Imam Hussain was martyred, so once he went to this greatest poet, Al-Marri, Al-Fazdak, the greatest poets of Arabic literature. And when he went there, so in the presence of Yazid, he read out some poetry. That is recorded. He condemned Yazid. He said that you killed the best man in the world, a saint, the imam, a spiritual man, the grandson of Prophet, who was not threat to anybody. He didn't ask you that.
He was
the
the
government
ambassador of peace who did not come, who came in peace.
You know, Imam Hussain once said that, well, I have not revolted against anybody. So why they're asking me that I should give my hand in his hand? Why? Imam said, because
he was a
they
symbol.
know that he is the only man who knows Islam and who is a representative of Islam, because he is this grandson of Prophet Muhammad. How can he tolerate a dictator, a debauch, a drunkard, to be the chief of Muslim Ummah? Just imagine. So this is a message for Muslim rulers even today, that the people who are in the camps of extremists, terrorists, dictators, I openly say that they are in the camp of Yazid. If somebody is Muslim ruler, or any Muslim in society, if he is cruel, if he is callous, if he is uncouth, he is not a Muslim. Practically speaking.
Because that goes against the whole concept of Islam.
Yes.
Which preaches equality,
yeah,
humanity.
If somebody is non-Muslim and he says he respects human values, he respects all humanity, it means that inwardly he is acting upon the message of Islam. The principles
exactly,
of Quran.
absolutely no difference of opinion there as well. Different languages, how have they treated the
You know, in
tragedy?
Arabic, I think all great poets have they have presented great tributes to the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, undoubtedly. And this is not only one language, because the Imam Hussain belonged to Arab world, but it was, you see, in Persian, Muhtasham Kashi was a very great poet, and he mostly wrote only in the praise, or you can say the eulogies of Imam Hussain, the praise of Imam Hussain. Not only praise, it's not only praise. The word marsiya, as the word Arabic word, it came to Persian resa as resa. Resa. Marsiya is you can say it is a mourning poem, you can say elegy, okay?
Yeah.
But the word marsiya has been distinguishedly attached with Imam Hussain.
Right.
Just see.
Yes.
You can write marsiya. Suppose Ghalib has written a marsiya on the death of his nephew, you can say, maternal nephew. Bhanja, we say maternal nephew. It's the marsiya.
Right.
But the marsiya word has been attached, affixed with Imam Hussain.
That's true.
And we can say, you see, Iqbal.
And the roots are in pre-Islamic Arabic and Persian history of marsiya.
And you know, I tell you particularly that, well, the books that had been written in prose and poetry on Imam Hussain in the whole world literature, they are numberless. And I can't, in the time span is very short.
Of course.
So many Muslims. And suppose Mohammad, Kanwar Mohammad Bedi, a Sikh great writer, and novelist, story writer and poet, he has written marvelous poetry. He said that I am not a Muslim, but Hussain is not for a Muslim. Hussain is for humanity. Hussain laid down his life with his kith and kin for the sake of human values. He fought against terrorists. He fought against oppressors. He fought against aggressors. So it's not only that like that. Gandhi, just see, Gandhi had high praise for Imam Hussain. So these are non-Muslims. But I tell you one thing, I am very much impressed by Dr. Iqbal. Dr. Iqbal has paid marvelous tributes. Ustad Mirza Mutahari, one of the greatest contemporary Muslim scholar. So he wrote a book, The Greatest Muslim Writers in the 20th Century, the previous century. In that book, he presented great homage and tributes to Dr. Iqbal, being the philosopher poet of the Muslim world, and the man who presented Islam on very progressive and according to the spirit of time. And he also,
and in a very spiritual way that people could connect with, that made it extremely appealing.
So Iqbal also says, "Ta qiyamat kat istabdaad kard, mauj khune oo chaman ijaad kard." What Hussain did? Ta qiyamat kat istabdaad kard. He severed the roots of oppression, dictator, till doomsday, forever. He laid down his life, but he didn't bow before the terrorists, before the oppressors. Mawjood, his blood emerged in the shape of tulips for our salvation. He says that Iqbal says that if we just understand the mission and mantra of Imam Hussain, there will be no dictatorship in the world, no monarchy, no oppression. Now you just go to the Muslim world, I should not name anybody. I have visited so many Muslim countries. People are tongue-tied. Their plumages or their feathers or their wings have been clipped.
So when we're talking about oppression, it's also been, stated in Islam that to be a victim of oppression is also a sin.
Yeah.
Because you have to fight against it. So it's all in your mind. It starts with that mindset. It starts with the mind being imprisoned first. When the mind is imprisoned, then is the soul, then is the body. And then you have a society who will bow in front of dictators, in front of tyrants. The opening of the mind with literature, reading, how does that all come into effect?
Yeah. Let us make it to our country and to subcontinent, because I just told you that in all languages, the very great prominent personalities, writers, philosophers, poets have presented heartiest and humblest homage to Imam Hussain. But suppose I'm just talking to our own country in this session. I was just telling you that from Iqbal, I came to this, that I said, कि रोने वाला हूँ शहीद करबला के गम में मैं क्या दुरे मकसद न देंगे साक़ी कौसर मुझे. So Iqbal time and again in his message gives Hussainiyat and Yazidiyat. Hussainiyat and Yazidiyat, they are two symbols, two concepts.
Of course.
Very clear.
Yes. Good and evil.
Very clear. Good and evil. Haqq wa batil. Clear. So some people are in the camp of Hussain and some in the camp of Yazid. Muslims are non-Muslims.
Yes.
If somebody says that I belong to this sect, so I must say no. It has nothing to do with sectarianism. It is an ideology.
Yes.
Ideology. As Josh Malibadi was a very great poet, Josh. I have the honor that I used to meet him in Islamabad when in the last days he was here. And one of my books, Gosha-e-Qafas, my poetry book, Urdu and Persian, in 1982. I was very young at that time. I used to meet him, and he had it in the foreword, preface of my book, Gosha-e-Qafas. So I used to sit with him. So his, one of his martial, you can say, Hussain and Inqilab, not just see. Josh Malibadi, the greatest India poet of Urdu literature of this era, he writes Hussain and Inqilab, Hussain and revolution, clear. I talked to him so many times on different matters. So he was of the opinion that Hussain belonged to all humanity. Hussain stood for revolution. So once I was talking to him, I said, what you have written, it is Imam Hussain who said at the plain of Karbala on 10th of Ashura, while addressing to enemy forces. What he said? Oh people, ya ayyuhan nas, oh people, if you are not Muslims, you have drifted from the right path. You have forsaken the religion of Muhammad, peace be upon him. At least you are human beings. I am talking to you as a human being.
Right.
I am saying that the sword of terrorism, oppression is hanging over your heads. I am fighting for you, for your freedom. I am not accepting monarchy and dictatorship. And I am saying that the government exchequer, that is Baitul Mal, treasury, is being distributed amongst the cronies of Yazid as political bribe. And people are starving. General public is starving. There is no economic justice. There is no political freedom. It is the address of Imam Hussain. Why don't the people tell it? Why our ulama, they don't tell the real thing, that what was the purpose. Purpose is in the speech of Imam Hussain, that I'm fighting for freedom, political freedom. I'm fighting for economic and social justice. So this is the same thing which
So
says...
isn't it exactly as you said? So, you know, if you think that the message that Hazrat Imam Hussain brought with him, the supreme sacrifice that he gave, and now we have the very day or the very month being, you know, sectarian violence, isn't that just such a tragedy,
great tragedy.
adding to a tragedy?
I agree with you that as I was talking about Josh Mali Abadi, Hussain and Inqilab, he says, इंसान को, not Muslim, इंसान को बेदार तो हो लेने दो. Let the humans or humankind awake, that come out from deep slumber. इंसान को बेदार तो हो लेने दो. हर कौम पुकारेगी हमारे हुसैन. Every nation will cry out that Hussain belongs to us. Why Hussain belongs to us? Josh Malibadi says, because he gave the message of humanity,
Exactly.
of freedom
Yes.
for all mankind. So see the impact of the martyrdom of Hussain on the poetry of Josh Malibadi.
Absolutely.
Okay, let us come to Faiz Abul Faiz. Okay? I had the honor to be very close to Faiz Saab when he was here as chairman of Arts Council. And in my book, my Urdu columns, Chirag Afkar, I have written one of my columns published, and that included in that book, Faiz Ki Baatein. I have written my personal relations with him and used to sit with him. So, Faiz, in his book, Ghubar-e-Ayyam, has written a Marsiya, elegy of Imam Hussain. And he gave it, as he gave Josh Hussain and Inqilab, he gave it as Hussain and Insaniyat and Insaf. That he, in that elegy, Josh, you know, Faiz was a revolutionary, a socialist, huh?
Yes, yes.
And he was anti-clergy or anti, you can say, extremism and anti-imperialism. He says that the man who rejects Hussain, he is infidel. He is not a human being. So even, you see, that Faiz, a great liberal and socialist poet, how he was impressed by even the tragedy of Karbala.
Exactly.
And you will astonish to know that it's not only high literature. Even Sultan Bahu, our Punjabi poet, you read his poetry. He says there were 18,000 ulama, religious scholars in that, and none gave his life except Hussain. And you know, it's very full of pathos and ethos when you read that poetry of Sultan Bahu about Imam Hussain.
Right. Okay, so right now we have to go for a break, but don't change the channel, and we'll be right back.
Ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala.
यासिर मुसलमान के प्यारे हैं हुसैन, चरखे नौए बशर के तारे हैं हुसैन. इंसान को बेदार तो हो लेने दो, हर कौम पुकारेगी हमारे हैं हुसैन.
गर्मी का रोज़ जंग की क्यों करूं बयां, डर है कि मिसले शम्मा न जलने लगे ज़ुबां. बोलूं कि अल हज़र वो हरारत के अलमा, रन की ज़मीन तो सुर्ख थी और जर्द आसमां. आबे खुन को खल्क तरसती थी खाक पर, गोया हवा से आग बरसती थी खाक पर. The days of summer heat defied description. My tongue burns like a candle if I try. God save us from the blast of its inception. The field was red and yellow burnt sky. Cold water was the wish of this poor band, as flaming winds pour fire upon the sand. शेर उठते न थे धूप के मारे कछार से, आहू न मुंह निकालते थे सब्जाजार से। आईना महर का था वो कद्दर गुबार पे, गर्दों को तप चढ़ी थी ज़मीं के बुखार से। गर्मी से मुस्तरिब था ज़माना ज़मीं पर, भुन जाता था जो गिरता था दाना ज़मीं पर। The lions would not emerge from their wild dens. Dust hung around the hazy sun's wet girth. Gazelles all sought of refuge of the fens. The firmament caught fever from the earth. From pain of heat it uttered mournful sound. Seeds roasted if they fell upon the ground. चलते थे चार सिमत से भाले हुसैन पर, चलते थे चार सिमत से भाले हुसैन पर, टूटे हुए थे बर्छियों वाले हुसैन पर। चलते थे चार सिमत से भाले हुसैन पर, टूटे हुए थे बर्छियों वाले हुसैन पर। ये दुख नबी की गोद के पाले हुसैन पर, कातिल थे खंजरों को निकाले हुसैन पर। तीरे सितम निकालने वाला कोई न था, गिरते थे और संभालने वाला कोई न था। From all directions arrows poured like rain. Assassins rushed with spears and daggers bared. Such pain befell Hussein, such pain, such pain. The one who on the Prophet's lap was reared. No one to pluck the arrows from his chest, no one to lift him to his place of rest. लाखों में एक बेकसो दिलगीर हाय हाय, फर्जंदे फातिमा की ये तौकीर हाय हाय। भाले वो और पहलुए शब्बीर हाय हाय, वो जहर में बुझाए हुए तीर हाय हाय। गुस्से में थे जो फौज के सरकश भरे हुए, खाली किए हुसैन पे तरकश भरे हुए। Midst thousands one affiliated stood, alas, the noble son of Fatima, alas. Shabir was struck by tyrant spears, alas, and arrows pierced his holy skin, alas. That ragged, angry army honor's vein poured out its bristling quivers on Hussein. आई निदाए गैब के शबीर मरहबा, इस हाथ के लिए थी ये शमशीर मरहबा। ये आबरू, ये जंग, ये तौकीर मरहबा, दिखला दी माँ के दूध की तासीर मरहबा। गालिब किया खुदा ने तुझे कायनात पर, बस खात्मा जिहाद का है तेरी ज़ात पर। A voice came from the sky, all hail Shabir. This sword was made for him, Shabir, all hail. All hail to him was battle honor dear. Nursed at his mother breast, how can he fail? God give him mastery over the creation, for he alone could fight to save his nation.
Ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala, ay Karbala.
यासिर मुसलमान के प्यारे हैं हुसैन, चरखे नौए बशर के तारे हैं हुसैन। इंसान को बेदार तो हो लेने दो, हर कौम पुकारेगी हमारे हैं हुसैन।
Welcome back to the program. Dr. Jafri, as we were speaking, about today's really, really enriching program, talking about Hazrat Imam Hussain and his sacrifices, the 10th of Muharram, what it means not just to Muslims, but to humanity, as you very rightly put it, because this is a cause for humanity that he was fighting for. You also being an author of 26 books, how have you been influenced?
There's one very beautiful couplet of great poet Faiz Ahmad Faiz. The line is, "Jo zulm pe lanat na kare, aap la'i hai." The man who doesn't condemn oppression,
exactly,
he should be condemned.
Exactly.
So my mission is that for Imam Hussain, that we should never bow before oppression.
And it can take many forms.
Yeah, oppression is of many forms.
Yes.
It is economic, political, social. Suppose if the ladies are not giving we don't give them rights, or they don't have human rights and women rights, or rights, children rights, labor rights. Rights are rights for all human beings. So in my book, Seeds of Sanity, my English poetry book, there's a poem on Imam Hussain, the chief of martyrs. I presented my tributes and wrote in that he was a champion of humanity, tolerance. He gave his life, but he didn't get the life of anybody. He gave the message that I sacrifice, but I will not kill anybody.
Right.
In my book, Testament of Truth and The Gleams of Wisdom, I have in different columns or by my writings, I have appreciated the sacrifice of Imam. And in my Urdu and English and Persian, whatsoever I've written, in so many books I have directly, indirectly, vicariously, I am very much impressed by his sacrifice. And I think if we understand the inner and the real message of the sacrifice of Imam Hussain, that is, we should not accept oppressors. That he said, for one day to accept oppressors, that I will not tolerate it. He said, for a single minute I will not accept oppression.
Also silence.
So that's
as
very
well.
clear.
True.
The message is very clear.
True. Also silence as well, being silent on issues that need a voice. I think that's where writers also come in as well, because what they're doing is they are imparting the ability for provoking
the voice
thought.
to speak out.
Yes, exactly.
There's a Brazilian philosopher, he has written The Culture of Silence. I have mentioned in some of my columns that he says that when there's oppression, so the culture of silence, you say that this man doesn't speak, he keeps silent. So he is admired in a society where people are just like idols, icons, idols. So we are human beings, we are not idols. So wrong is wrong and right is right.
Yeah.
But to say it is right, it is wrong, it is difficult.
That demands huge bravery.
Even in
Valor.
21st century, in this century,
True.
I see people that they will not speak truth.
True.
I tell you.
True.
And they will compromise with anything.
And then how far do you go in compromising? You see, that's where you ask the question, that once you're silent, once you've agreed to something that you don't in principle believe,
You'll be
believe it.
astonished, I should not give my personal example. I'm a very humble man. I'm talking about great personalities who have suffered a lot by speaking against terrorism or extremism. But I tell you very frankly that not only as a writer, but as a public speaker, I had been speaking in political, when I mentioned in some political parties I have given some time, and I had been publicly speaking and talking against oppressors, even in my country. And I have myself suffered a lot. It is a different history. Some people have commented on it. Some people have written articles on my poetry, my books. They have mentioned it that in this government and that government, how I had suffered, and I never bowed before any tyrant or despot, even in my country. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
A principled stance which
Principled
a person
stance,
adheres
yes.
to, is there actually...
And this is only because of the message of Imam Hussain. I'm really impressed.
And that is your inner compass.
Of
because
course.
that inner compass is going to tell you which direction you're going to go in and which path is not for you.
Yes, it's important.
Are we imparting that on our younger generation? Are we doing that?
I
Are
think
we-
the younger generation nowadays, we are marching towards the destination, our destination of freedom, democracy, liberty, and should be. These are the human values. And I think that they should learn the message, the lesson from the martyrdom of Imam Hussain.
Well, with those words, I'm going to ask you, Dr. Jafri, firstly, thank you so much for being on
I'm
our show
thankful to
as a
you.
guest.
You gave me a chance
and
to talk on this very noble topic.
We have really, thank you very much. We have really been honored to have you here and to learn from your expertise and everything, all the knowledge that you had to give us. I want you to give a message to the people, to the viewers who are watching today's program in reflection of Hazrat Imam Hussain. We do many things throughout this month, but the essence, the spirit, the symbolism that he carried, how do we, embrace that and carry it on through our generations as well? What should be done?
It is written in the books of history that when Imam Hussain, his neck was being cut by the dagger, a sword of shimmer, he was saying, Allah, Allah, God, God. And in a verse he has said that, oh my God, this is verse of Imam Hussain, oh my God, I have sacrificed my life, my kith and kin, only for your mission. So I believe that the mission of God is the mission of humanity, the mission of sacrifice. It is the mission of tolerance, peace, social justice. These are the basic values we must protect.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you
Jafri, for
very
being
much.
on the show today. And with those wonderful words, we come to the end of today's program. Definitely a time this month, a time for reflection, remembrance, and honoring that sacrifice. How do we honor that? That we take those symbols that are so important to this great religion, these symbols, the understanding of humanity, the fight against oppression, good against evil, and also thinking of everyone in the world as equal and as brothers and sisters, and to be, to have empathy. That's one of the most important things as well. So until next time, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.